I'm a state certified instructor. I teach teens and adults. Let's go ahead and get it. We're talking about observational skills of driving explained. These are things you need to develop, and these are things you need to do throughout your driving career, whether you are a first-year driver, 10th-year driver. It's extremely important that you develop these skills. What I find, and it's super important, a lot of us take for granted, is properly adjusting the seat. When you have your seat adjusted, you can have a slight bend in your knees and a slight bend in your elbows. You don't want to be too close to the steering wheel, and you don't want to be too far back. That bend is really important. You want to wear thin sole shoes. I'm not sponsored by Converse, but I like those Converse shoes. Why? You can pivot your foot between the gas and brake, and you can feel the pedal. Thin sole shoes are extremely important so you can feel comfortable and you can feel balanced. Once you get the vehicle started, you want to make sure your mirrors are properly adjusted. You want to make sure that seatbelt is on. And then you want to signal if you're in the street from that curb position and watch for a gap. Here's a great ongoing question. What is a gap? A gap is the space between two things. Either the gap that you're going to pull out in front of a vehicle is large enough that you can safely put out, or the gap once the vehicle passes you. We're not pulling out an imaginary air. We're looking for a safe space or gap to pull out. One of the worst things that driver's ed instructors and road testers go through is that first initial turn onto the main road. Do not pull out in front of oncoming cars. It is guaranteed failure, and it is dangerous. Let's talk about use of the steering wheel. You know I have my steering wheel down here. This is from my 68 Camaro. We want to have both hands on the wheel. Obviously, we're intelligent enough to know you don't want to put your thumbs in the middle of the steering wheel where the airbag is. That's a definite no-no. You want to keep the vehicle centered in the lane. You look ahead and aim high. If you don't look ahead and aim high, you're going to drift to the right of the road where the edge line is, that white line, and lose points. Or you're going to drift to the left of the road and you're going to lose points. Stay at least one lane, stay in one lane as much as possible. Don't straddle lanes. Let's talk about lane changing. You want to signal your intention. You want to look over your shoulder. You want to turn on that blinker, and once you enter that lane, you want to cancel that blinker. It's a smooth, fluent motion. You don't want to jerk the wheel. If you jerk the wheel, you're going to throw the car off the road to the right or throw the car off the road to the left. You have to signal the intended lane you need to go to. What usually happens with the beginning drivers? They get confused. I tell them to turn on the right turn signal. They turn on the left turn signal. I tell them to turn on the left turn signal. They turn on the right turn signal. Don't fear. I'm chilled. I'm relaxed. And we explain students make these mistakes. But when you get to that D&V test or that road test, you have to know which blinker's on and you have to look over the correct shoulder. It's really important. A blind spot is the area behind me, such as my blind. Or such as driving with the Myles, where you're going to subscribe to once this is done. Okay, so that is really important. Let's talk about speed and following distance. You want to maintain a speed at the flow of the traffic, but I get questions. Can I exceed the speed limit? The answer is no. If you exceed the speed limit, that is automatic failure. Do not speed. On the other side, do not go under the speed limit, 5, 7, 10, 12, or that could be grounds for a warning for failure. So you have to find the balance. At minimum, you need to maintain a 2-second following distance. That is extremely important, but you want to increase that distance when the density of the traffic increases, when there's bad weather. If it's at night, you want to maintain a safe space cushion. I know it sounds funny, space cushion, but you have to maintain that. You do not want to tailgate other cars. And when you get into your lane, you do not want to slow down. Beginning drivers tend to do that. They get into the lane, they make their turn, and then they lift their foot off the brake. I'm checking my mirror. I see cars coming upon us. I see trucks coming upon us. So you really want to maintain that spot. Let's talk about responsiveness to weather. You want to increase the following distance to 3 seconds or more. It's extremely important. You want to reduce the speed well in advance of intersections. You want to scan left, middle, and right. Typically, what beginning drivers do, they drop 3, 5, 7, 9 miles an hour because they're scared the light's going to change. Most of the time, if you maintain speed, you will make the light. Occasionally, we have pop-up lights. And pop-up lights are those random traffic lights that change all of a sudden. So the student is screaming, the instructor is screaming, So it makes it an uncomfortable situation. It's all in getting comfortable with your car, comfortable with yourself, and comfortable with the instructor. I'm giving you some advice. Reduce speed when or during advisable weather conditions. You've got to take your time in that mess. It's really any adverse weather conditions. Reduce your speed, drive slower. I have some content already put up where I was safely driving with the GoPro cam on, and the weather was incredibly poor. Reduce your speed, drive slower. Let people know, hey, I will be late. There's heavy snow, there's heavy rain, it's fog. It's extremely important that you understand those conditions. Less in on highway and freeway. If you know the difference between a highway and freeway, type it in the comments with your name and I'll shout you out. Let's talk about merging on expressway. A lot of beginning drivers less than 10 years experience, they tend to hesitate on the ramp. One of the most nerve-wracking and scariest things for instructors as well as students is merging on expressway. I can't tell you how many questions I get. How do I merge on expressway? You want to signal on the ramp. You want to accelerate midway down the ramp. You want to push your foot to the floor gradually. Accelerate up to speed as smoothly as possible. You want to turn on your signal prior to merging. You want to select a gap. There's that key word again. A gap is a space which minimizes interference with others. Some cars are going really fast. They're going to pass right past you. Get it? Pass right past you. Other cars will kind of lift their foot a little bit. You see that gap, you've got to go. A lot of beginning drivers will lift their foot, will lose the momentum, lose that acceleration advantage. And a few times in my career, we've had to get over to the side because we just don't have enough speed. So practice those merges. You have to learn how to merge effectively. Next, periodically observe vehicles in adjacent lanes. Are trucks moving really fast? Is there a fast sports car? Is there a slow sports car? Anticipate your speed, your pace, and flow of the traffic so you don't get caught when you're merging out and there's a semi going 65, going 75, and we're only going 30. You've got to pick up your speed. You've got to accelerate. So you use that ramp like a slingshot to merge you out there in front of traffic. You're smiling. I'm smiling. We're smiling. And we both feel good about that as an accomplishment because it really is a special accomplishment to get on that freeway. Frequently check your rear view mirrors and your side mirrors. If you check too much, you're going to start drifting to the right, drifting to the left. Have a comfortable pace, right? Signal well in advance to let drivers know, hey, I'm exiting off the expressway. This reduces confusion. This reduces cars and trucks riding right on top of us. And we've all been on the expressway or highway, and someone suddenly just turns off in front of us, and it catches you off guard, and your heart drops, right? Exit at the posted limit. I have some content of the first snowfall. You need to look it up on my channel. That's when it gets really dangerous because you're not used to that snow. Maybe your tires aren't as good. Maybe you don't have experience in snow, and it really kind of catches you off guard. So let's review. I'm a state certified instructor. I've been teaching driver's ed 21 years. I love teaching people how to drive. It's very fulfilling, very rewarding. I need you to subscribe to my channel. And if you felt this brought you value, give it a thumbs up. I have some great content coming in 2021. This has been Driving with Myles. Thank you.